Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Square Circle Podcast with your host, Marie Shadows, and returning, like always, because he's the best co host to have for MLW, Dos Evo. Dos Evo, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's great. I mean, I don't know if people are going to see this or not, but I'm holding up my MLW VIP tag. So for everyone who says you don't have sources, you're not a wrestling insider, I think this proves that I am. So
It does. It
yes,
it really it really really does.
take that.
That's right. I was really happy that Dosivo decided to come to an MLW show, bringing along his friend Steve and his wonderful family that I met and chatted with for like, I don't know, maybe like 15 minutes here and there before I went around running around doing whatever I wanted to do in a way. But yeah, that lanyard that you guys see and those that are listening on the audio version, it kind of makes him, it gives him the cred. He has the cred now. He has the credentials. So how was your experience at your first MLW show?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought the venue was really neat. It was crowded, but it didn't feel crowded.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like if I wanted to go get a drink or a beverage or a snack or go to the bathroom or anything, it would have been like, oh, what an ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you could, some of the talent was, sort of going towards the back because that's where I was on the side where the back was sort of where the meet and greets were, where people were selling merch. So, some of them were going back and forth. Um, Crowd was raucous. Um, Sometimes it seemed like it was going to get a little, like maybe too raucous, but it never did. Like with one exception of one guy who I think the only
Mm-hmm.
person who actually wanted to fight was Kenta, which I would have really liked to see because I think Kenta would have like
Oh,
killed him in like one shot.
yeah.
Um, but other than that, like while people were speaking aggressively, it was all in kayfabe. It's all like you suck, no, you suck. But it was it was all in good fun, or at least from my perspective. And I completely lost my voice during the event. I, of course, was cheering for mostly bad guys because that's what I do. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, great experience. I would totally do it again. And TNA is coming to Baltimore, and I'm thinking about doing, expanding my dose rub to some other organizations as well. So who knows?
And on a scale of 1 to 10, to convince people that are still on the fence for buying at least $15 worth of a ticket, what is your scale to tell people to go buy?
Holy crap! I mean, uh, the tickets we got were like $45, and we were like in the sixth row. Um, so I mean, that's a 10. I mean, if you want to spend like 15 or 20 for standing room only, I guess an 8 or 9. I mean, if you're in New York, it's still a 10. If you're out of, but I drove from Baltimore. I mean, but I have family in New York also, so I saw them the next day and all of that good stuff. We have one goofy story about the other host of the former podcast who took the train all the way there, then checked his phone, saw it was sold out, didn't bother going to the ticket window to see if he could buy a ticket, which they would absolutely have sold him.
Mm-hmm.
He could have texted me and I could have pretended I was a VIP or asked you. I mean, they had room for one more. Anyway, so Ron, you're a goof. But I love you. No, 10. I mean, if you like wrestling, why would you go? I mean, there were people from CMLL there. There were Joshi wrestlers, New Japan. They were surprised. I mean, everyone knows by now that MJF was there. So nobody. I mean, I didn't know. I was told not to leave my seat, and I'm thinking. I mean, but we'll get to that because what
Yeah.
Thomas told me was really funny, and what was going through my head was Summer of the Beast. I mean, it can't possibly be Brock Lesnar, and ooh, maybe Braun Strowman has reduced his rates because he learned his lesson. But that's not. But Thomas told me said something even funnier. So
Hmm. I remember the last time for either it was like Summer of the Beast or one of the or the Battle Royale that they have, like they have like 30 to 40 men in there and whatnot. The other version of Brock Lesnar that was at, what was it? Was he at WWE or
Parker
AEW?
Boudreaux,
Yeah.
he was in both.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, you saying that, of you thinking that it could have been Brock Lesnar, it brought me back to that memory of Parker coming in, being like a debut surprise for MLW for the Battle Royal that they had. So I was just like, oh well, they could have got the baby version. Like, I don't know, the baby
Oh, they
version.
could have. I mean, I think that Parker is unfairly compared to Brock for both of them. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
he doesn't have that size or imposition, and it's unfair to him. But his I mean, he's completely tatted up. He's basically full body covered in tattoos, which of course Brock Lesnar has some very large famous tattoos, but it's not like covering his entire skin.
Yeah. So we're gonna jump into this review again. We are reviewing MLW Summer of the Beast 2025, and so I had to like just rewatch it just a little bit, just because like there are some promos and vignettes that like obviously don't all of them don't really get showed during the event. But Mads Kruger opens up with this video package, and now I know what he was saying. I jotted down some notes. He mentioned that it's going to be a new campaign for Contra and new soldiers, and obviously I put MJF there. And when we get to MJF coming out, sorry for anybody, but it's not really a spoiler at this point. But when we get there, I really do want to dive into that, because you and I like have that experience of being there live and just being told like, hey, something is really going to go down. And yeah, I really want to dissect that. After Mads Kruger has his opener, we have the MLW Tag Team Championship match, where it's Los Desperados taking on Bishop Dyer and Dijak. And we speculated about this like last month about like, oh, who the tag team could be. And we're thinking about like everybody else except for these two. I did not have this on like my bingo card or my radar. It was like, two big guys going after luchadors. Obviously, a little bit of luchador match rules where there's like no tags. They were really like, well, I should say, both of them were kind of equal in this match when it comes to like the back and forth action. But then we finally get this cool tag team of a finish where Bishop Dyer does like a mini, it's not a backbreaker or a side breaker. I need to like brush up on like some of the moves and stuff like that. Into a running fireman carry slam, and then Dijak with that damn big ass moonsault, because this guy is like super tall. He's a tree, man, doing a moonsault. And Dijak gets the victory 1, 2, 3, and we have new MLW Tag Team Champions, which is amazing. The celebration was great. The fans, I don't know why I was going to say the arena was going to come off, but the fans were like cheering, and it was a really, really good match. Your thoughts on the opener match?
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned the Contra, the Mads Kruger promo, because if I did have a complaint, which I should have voiced, it's that you really couldn't hear the vignettes, and they would have been helpful in a few circumstances, especially the Japanese Battle of the Idols, the Japanese women match, because it really told the story of who they are and who they were and what they were to each other, why they were fine. As far as this match was concerned, it's funny, when I was watching it live, I really thought it was more 50-50, and then when I watched on TV, it felt like Bishop Dyer, who for anyone, that's Baron Corbin, or Tom Paystock. Dijak is Dijak, Donovan Dijakovic, Dijak, whatever, and they were with Saint Laurent. But yeah, this was a good match. And the funny thing afterwards is that, the Desperados or whatever they call themselves, pretending are faces, and they're shaking hands, saying good job. And Dyer and Dijak, hit them in the head with the belts to knock them down, to be heelish. But the last time we saw this tag team of Rugio, who, by the way, I'm just more confused because it's supposed to be like Red Wolf or something, and he was wearing like a black mask that made him look like a wild boar or something. I mean, I'm still confused what kind of animal he's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be a lion.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Well, he didn't he looked even less like a lion this time. If anything, he looked like the werewolf from the old 1930s movie. But the last we saw, Rugio and Magnus, they also hit their opponents after the ring match was over in the head with belts. And I believe it was the Panther brothers, Blue Panther and Dark Panther Jr. or something like that. Anyway, so, I got the feeling that a lot of people who go to the MLW shows are traveling fans. And so they certainly know this as well. So it really didn't get the the boos, it was cheers. I mean, first of all, you're seeing a guy that's 6'7", 6'8", and you're not used to seeing that on the indies. And one thing I love that they're using the name the Skyscrapers, back to Mean Mark Callis and Sid and Dan Spivey, for a while when, they kept losing people to the WWF back then. Fun match. Great ending. And by the way, I don't remember what I said with you, but when Thomas and I were talking, he's like, it's got to be the Good Brothers, right? I'm like, oh, no. And he's like, well, what do you think? I'm like, I just figure it's going to be that St. Laurent's going to put these two tall guys together and call them the Skyscrapers or the Twin Towers or something. I swear I said that. He'll back me up, but and it happened. And I almost talked myself out of it because there was so much between Cruel and Dijak that's been happening. But there aren't that many tag teams, full time there. So good ending. Good, fun. And again, to see two giant. Baron Corbin's actually a lot better looking in person. I mean, he's got a chiseled chin. He doesn't look on TV like some people look different on TV, even though they look exactly the same. He's very tall. I mean, they're both.
He is tall,
angular guys. They both have like chiseled faces for TV. Another thing, Austin Aries is terrific commentary. Whatever he is off the screen or what he's been in the past, I'm not talking about any of that. But he is great on this. And Tom Lawler was actually pretty good too. I couldn't hear him, but Tom Lawler, who I've always thought was a funny-looking guy, he looked good. He actually was handsome. And everyone's gonna be like, "Ooh, you're super gay." No, I'm not. I'm just telling you. I'm actually super straight. But I'm telling you, the man looked handsome.
I mean, it's totally okay, man. You're giving compliments. Not many people get compliments and whatnot like that. That's very appreciative. I'm glad that you brought up their tag team name, the Skyscrapers, because I didn't even write that down. That name is gonna have to grow on me because I'm just like, I don't know. I get it. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know.
Okay, well, it's like nostalgia for me, and you don't get many things reused except for the Hollywood Blondes, which has like been reused 5 times.
Yeah. Also, I mean, you mentioned Austin Aries. I did not put it on Twitter because I mean, I don't really care if I get heat nowadays. I mean, everyone came after me for my stupid ass tweet. That meant really nothing extra. But I did basically call over Austin Aries and told him I was a huge fan and followed his whole entire career. And he appreciated that. All the way back since like Ring of Honor days when he was handing out DVDs that had the Age of the Fallen like that fucking long ago. So I was like, hi, I'm here to give you your flowers. You're one of my favorites. But I don't care if I get heat. Like you guys could send hate or whatever. It's totally okay. So the second match was Anthony Green versus Brock Anderson. And I loved watching this match live. Everything about it was really, 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 really good. And it's a really good match for me to feature on my tape study series to break it down. Because Anthony Green did something very interesting that most wrestlers don't really do. And that is when he had Anderson into the ropes, the referee was there. And you can see Anthony Green like just reaching down and pulling down Anderson's knee pad, and that allowed for the distraction. Even though it was like a quick little second of the distraction, that was brilliant. Anthony Green is a brilliant wrestler. If you guys don't know who he is, he has like an extensive background, not only being an indie wrestler, but also spending time in Japan, I believe in Pro Wrestling Noah for like a good amount of years, maybe like I want to say like 2 years. I don't know. But the first time that I ever met Anthony Green was back in December. And when I shook his hand, I was like, yeah, I know who you are. So his face lit up with that. He's a damn good guy to have in your roster. Brock Anderson is getting better and better, and he has that smooth DDT that we love seeing. So for this one, the winner of this one is Brock Anderson. Your thoughts?
The one error Austin Aries made is he compared Brock Anderson's right arm to his father, Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson was famously a southpaw. And this now he does punch like his father, it's just a different arm, so it's not entirely wrong. But this played into the story because in probably the pivotal moment in the match, Anthony Green ducked and Brock
Yeah.
Anderson threw a punch, but because it was his left hand instead of his right, fist right into the corner, into the ring post.
Mm-hmm.
So but of course turn now this was more, Anthony Green got more offense than I would like in this, because I think Brock is going to be one of their featured guys. By the way, Brock, I don't know if it's, again, when you're in a smaller fed, more regular sized people look bigger, but
Mm-hmm.
Brock presented really large. I mean, he moves, his body language from behind. He's so much like his father.
Yeah.
It really is eerie. He's taller though. He's taller, and if he spent more time in the gym, he'd be thicker too. But he was good. He was arguing with some guy in the well, actually, somebody in the crowd was arguing with him, but he was acknowledging it, and
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like he was taking it personally. I'm sure he really didn't care, but he was doing the old wrestler thing and playing towards it even after the match was over. But it was a good match. I mean, Brock looks good. I saw C.J. Anderson sort of poking his head out from the curtain, watching his protege.
Mm.
I wasn't sure if there was going to be a run-in. It's sort of unclear with BRG gone. If
Yeah.
not really talking about the Rogue Horsemen, the entrance is still the Andersons, and BRG and Brock Anderson are tagging on an Indian. BRG who called
Yeah.
me an idiot because I spelled his name Gosling like Ryan Gosling instead of
Yeah.
Gosling.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. Said we made up, and that was that. But good match, 50-50. Anthony. So I have a confession to make though. I know who Anthony Green is. I saw him on Ring of Honor. I've seen him around. I've seen him on TV. He's been in the business like close to 20 years. For a while, I was confused why he looked so different, and I was thinking of Anthony Henry.
Oh. Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
No, it's just the name. That's
Yeah, I
all.
know, I
I
know.
was expecting.
Hmm.
I was expecting the name. Anthony Green looks a little bit like Dante Caballero, except not as Caballero-esque.
Mm. uh yeah. Um After that we do get a small little vignette thing of like Templario going into the office of Caesar Durant, and Selena is there as well, and Templario basically in Spanish is like, I want a shot at the title, and Caesar and Selena all like, you got to prove it, like, cool, thanks for letting us know you want a title shot, but you got to prove it. And then, obviously Templario is all about like, he respects wrestling in general and respects that championship title. And I think he wanted to basically call his shot for the world title, not even the other one, the middleweight title. But your thoughts on Templario?
Well, I mean, I love everything with Cena. Cena,
Yeah, Cena.
Caesar, and Selena. Okay, when you combine two names and you end up with Cena, that really gives the wrong impression. With Caesar and Selena, but Templario, sort of my new favorite. But yeah, they basically said to him, "Don't spray it or say it. Show us." And Caesar's like, "This is your crusade," which is great because El Templario means the Templar, and so that's Jeff stuff. I mean, you tie in mythology and history and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
That's why I'm falling in love with CMLO, because these guys have these wacky names that
Hmm.
each one could be a title to my Garden of Thought show where we're going into stuff like that. So, I'm so disappointed that like A, most of them will respond to me, and B, they mostly don't speak English or are uncomfortable. Because I would love to just have them on and like talk to Slinge about Egyptian mythology and
Hmm.
things like that. Anyway, good segment. I am not exactly sure what belt Templario is. I'm not sure if he wants the one that Mystico held, the the middleweight title. I don't know if he wants the one that is the open weight title that I think Mystico was going to go for. I don't know if he just wants to go for the. I figure it's not the world title because we have enough clutter there between Riddle, Dijak,
Yeah.
Kruger, and now Hammerstone, which we'll get into a little bit up there.
Hmm.
But I'm all about, because I think that I think in like 3 years, maybe less, but in 3 years, the way people talk about Mystico now, and the way they were talking about Vikingo and Commander Hologram, over the last 2 years, rightly or wrongly, I think they're going to be speaking rightly about Templario that way.
And I really do like the way that Templario has his matches, and like, the stuff that he does, the moves and everything. He's really one to like watch out for. He really is. I just don't think that he should still be part of the United Empire if that's still a thing. Even though we're talking about MLW, I will say here, I think the United Empire needs to maybe eventually break up. But moving on to women's wrestling.
You're going to be like the Guy Fawkes of the United Empire, right? You're gonna take that thing down.
Listen, I love them, and then they basically imploded on the inside out, and I love them.
V for Vendetta mask is in the mouth.
Man, okay, women's wrestling. We had the Joshi wrestlers, Wakana versus Yuki. And this was for TJPW, which is their other little mini like partnership that they also have with the Joshi wrestlers. There are for anybody new that's out there that don't really know about women's Japanese wrestling, there is as many promotions as there are for like the men's Japanese wrestling. So like, there's Stardom, TJPW, other ones I can't think of right now, but they're part of the TJPW portion of that over there in Japan. This was a really good match, lots of strikes, some hits, submissions coming in. Yuki is adorable, only because I got the chance to work with her before the show, and she grew up in Ohio. So basically she knows her English is pretty good. She has some jokes about learning English. So she does know English and Japanese. And I could tell you that Wakana and Yuki's lines were really, really long, and most of the people that came in to see them were they bought their combos for both. So like, yeah, it's Joshi wrestling is popular out here. It's just when you look at it, it's very, very niche. It's not like grand. It's very, 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 very niche. So for this match, Yuki did win. So your thoughts first before we head into the next segment after this match. But yeah.
Okay, a couple of notes. Both of these women, apparently one of them was like won a Japanese idol show as a singer and transitioned into wrestling. The other one, I don't know if this is real or not, or you can do more than one thing, but she apparently was a runway model and transitioned into wrestling, or did both at the same time. So that's why they're the idols. They showed their history as a tag team together. Like I said, I really would have loved to have been able to hear that vignette so that I knew that. What was the permission to be an idiotic 15-year-old boy for a second?
Go ahead.
Okay, so the tall one who is the supermodel, like her character is like she was the nonchalant celebrity. It's like it was almost like an Orange Cassidy, like she's a debutante, but she's sort of casual. You know,
yeah.
She doesn't really care about anything. It was sort of a heelish character, but she wasn't a heel, which confused me most of the match and into the end. But her last name, if you pronounce it the correct way, it's fine. But if you pronounce it the way I did, it was "Can I fuck you?" And the way she moved around the ring, and the way she walked, and the way she did body gestures, she spent some time doing table service or on stages where you're supposed to give that impression, because she was. The other woman, short, cute as hell, great boobs. I was trying to get my stepson to go home with them, and only 93% to get rid of him. 7% for his best interest, of course. It was cute. The taller woman won. I thought the shorter lady is a better wrestler. What's her name? Yuki, the one.
No, Yuki's the tall one, and then Wakana is the shorter one.
Right, Yuki won. The
Yeah,
taller
yeah,
one
yeah.
won.
Okay, okay.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Even Steve said to me, he goes, "I feel like this match is a little bit in slow motion." I'm like, yeah, well, I feel like one of them is in slow motion, and which fits in with her casual bougie kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then she won, and I didn't really see her. Again, I was confused the whole match because there was no like. They both got flowers at the end, and they were hugging. I'm just like, what the hell? What's happening here? But
That's the thing that happens over in Japan. Sometimes wrestlers will end up receiving flowers or have a good match, and it's just, I guess, a sign of respect. But it's a thing that happens over there.
well, she was. I don't know the way she reminded me. I watch Evolve and actually review that show on the Wrestling Soup on the Dose of Chocolate. And the first time I saw Summer Sorrell wrestle, she looked too slow to be on a televised match, even on Tubi, and that's how I felt about Yuki.
Mm. I mean, sometimes it does happen in general too. When I can see like the match like really slows down for certain wrestlers. It's just I don't know if it's about like getting their reps in or like just training more to feel comfortable to go at like a normal speed. But yeah, wrestlers like defy the odds. But it was a little bit slow though. It was. So right after Yuki wins, Shotzi comes out and she makes her MLW debut. To which she takes the microphone and basically, declares to some degree that the women's division is going to get shaken up, for the lack of a better paraphrasing. And one day she wants to go and try to face Yuki, and Yuki was like, maybe that can happen. And then right after that, Ava Everett comes out to talk her shit to Shotzi, and we haven't seen Ava in about maybe like 2-ish years because she was like a main staple for MOW. The match has already been made for August 9th, which is Blood and Thunder. It is going to be Shotzi versus Ava Everett.
Yeah, Shotzi looks great. Shotzi, I mean, when she comes out, there doesn't need to be any lights. She emits lights. She emits whatever. I believe people overuse the word aura, but that's the only
Mm-hmm.
word I can use. I mean, like when you see a star, like energy seems to emit from their body. Their persona. It seems to be bigger than the actual confines of their skin, and that's her. How WWE let her go or decided to let her go, I have no idea. I mean, I don't want to compare her to anyone else, but there are
Mm-hmm.
other people on that roster that they could have released, moved to NXT, moved to Evolve, assigned to AAA or TNA. I do not know that this woman has star written all over her. And the most interesting part of her is that with Yuki and Maki and Shoto, who's the current featherweight champion, and Ava Everett, there are actually 5 women on the MLW roster, which might not sound like a lot, but that's more than I can ever remember being actually on the MLW roster one time. Now I know some of them are traveling and they're on loan or whatever, but that's MLW. And that's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
promotion. They tape every month or 2 months or whatever they do, and then people come in and come out. But I'm excited to see if there's going to be more because I'm a convert to women's wrestling. You asked me 5-6 years ago, I'm like, I don't care about women's wrestling. You put Sable in mud, and I'm happy. Now it's just like I prefer the women's wrestling to the men a fair amount of the time. NXT is my favorite show. It's the only wrestling show that's 50-50.
That's true.
Yeah, and sometimes more than 50-50 for the women. Anyway, Ava Everett, we got a little taste of her. She's great. I don't know. We haven't seen her wrestle yet. I don't know if she's a great wrestler or not. I don't remember her from 2 years ago. The last person I remember from MLW that was like Mila Moore. She was from Long
Yeah.
Island. Ava Everett, I know from New Jersey. But she was basically doing like a Chelsea Green kind of spoiled mean girl kind of thing. I liked it. I liked it. And of course, me not remembering her from 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever she was last there, when she said to Shotzi, "I've been here a lot longer than you," I'm like, "Huh?
Mhm.
What'd you get here at 5?" And Shotzi got here at 5:30. What are you talking about? But but good. good. I mean, this was a good segment. This was fun. Every part of it was fun.
It was. So right after that, there is another vignette that I, me personally, I think I would have told him to redo it, but that's just me. It was Paul Walter Hauser and Paul London. They had their own little mini vignette promo. And by the way, Paul Walter Hauser remembered me and said hi, and I said hi back. I did not go and I did not go and shake his hand, and I felt kind of weird and awkward. I didn't do that. But the only reason why like I wanted this to be redone is because there is no reason to be using wrestling lingo, insider terms in this promo with Paul London. Basically, Paul London, I guess, obviously he's been on like a losing streak and stuff. Every opportunity that's given to him, you know, he tries his best and stuff like that. But Paul London feels like he does not want to be here for just nostalgia, just because of his name. So he wants to try at least to, you know, get better, because he knows that he could be the best version of like Paul London versus like a nostalgia thing. And you know, Paul Walter Hauser trying to tell Paul London, hey, we could probably go get tag team titles. You know, that could be a thing. And Paul London is like, no, I've been a tag team champion like almost his whole entire career. Like he wants to go and get like singles gold and stuff like that. But yeah, I just don't think that Paul Walter Hauser should have used insider terms like, you know, he said like the heat match, even though like it's supposed to be the blow off match. And I think he used blow off for that, because apparently like they have a series going back and forth of fighting each other. And Paul Walter Hauser was like, you know, oh, but this is gonna be like the blow off match or the heater match or whatever. And I'm just like, it's a little cringe like to use those kind of words in the promo if we're not going to like, no, I don't even know, man. But that's my assessment on it.
I mean, I agree with a lot of what you said. I mean, first of all, the audio wasn't that strong. Even watching it back, they were mumbling a little bit, or the audio wasn't that loud, so it was sort of hard to hear what they were saying. So Paul London he's doing the arc of, you know, I have one more run at me. I can still be at the top. I still got it. And you know, Paul Walter Hauser basically is listening, but not really listening. He's like, that's great, you can, but you know, we can also be tag team champions, and you know, why do you need to have only one belt? I mean, look at Mercedes Moné. No, he didn't say that. He said look at Viva Van. No, he didn't say that either. But I mean, I'm a little bit confused, because last time I saw Paul London, he was on the victorious team in War Chamber. So I don't know what he's so down on his luck about. I mean, so that's the last big time I saw him on MLW, and then I know they did some stuff in Mexico and whatever, but I didn't see him lose any big matches. Now, my first suggestion to him is, and I haven't seen him wrestle since War Chamber, but his wrestling attire was disgustingly dirty. So my first suggestion would be to wash it and bleach it, and maybe that will help you change up things a little bit. And we'll find out August 9th at Thor Love and Thunder, or Blood and Glory, or whatever
Blood
the
and
show
Thunder.
is called. Right. Thor,
Blood
Blood
and
Gunder, and Gunder and Blunder, and yeah, Blood and Glory, and yeah. This is fine. Whatever. These two guys are paired together. I mean, I guess Paul is there to make sure. I guess Paul London is there to make sure Paul Walter Hauser is safe. I mean, Paul Walter Hauser, he's in the new Naked Gun movie. I mean, he has a real career. So, yeah, he plays George Kennedy's son. You know.
I didn't know that.
Rebin's partner. You know, so he's Liam Neeson's partner. And they've got some kid who's playing O.J. Simpson. They have a whole funny. They did the commercial. They showed the commercial during MLW with it. That's why we saw the Naked Gun commercial during.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was, you know, doing MLW stuff.
I mean, that's the thing. I forget. I was just in the stands, though. Sometimes I was, you know, talking to Mr. Thomas or someone else, or showing off to the people around me that Mr. Thomas came and talked, because he snuck back and he came down and they talked to him, and they're like, "Ooh, who's your friend? He's really good." I'm like, "That's my best friend." Of course, I have to clarify that I'm not his best friend. He's just my best friend. But Marie works. Like she was schwitzing. She was sweating the whole time. She was running around all over the place. Sometimes she was in the same seat. Sometimes she wasn't in the seat. She was moving around. She was hustling and bustling. She was going upstairs, downstairs, all around town. So yeah, there are things I probably saw that she didn't. But it was on YouTube. Anyway, I mean, I'm assuming that's what that London is there to make sure Paul is safe. But I mean, I would think that Bobby Fish or CJ Anderson could serve the same function. It's not like he's the only veteran. I don't feel any chemistry between them, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get that too. I definitely felt that in the promo that they were doing. I was just like, there's no real chemistry here. Because if you wanted to be like Paul London's friend, and Paul London is trying to be like, well, I don't want to be nostalgia anymore. I would have probably just slapped him on the chest and be like, man, let's go. Let's go train. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Get him hyped up so that way he doesn't feel like that. And I think maybe fans, even though I don't know what the fans' perception is, and if anybody wants to leave some comments down below how you feel about Paul London, but I don't know what the fans' perception is of Paul London. It's nice to see him wrestle. It's nice to see him doing something. I don't want him to be a nostalgia act, but I would have like redone the promo and really rethink about like, okay, what do we want to tell? What kind of story we want to push? What's the next story beat if he's not going to be part of, obviously since like Boomaye is like, Thomas left, if he's not going to be with Thomas, what's the next story beat for Paul London? Like I would have just rethought that whole thing. And by the way, speaking of Mr. Thomas, he really did when he saw me and gave me a hug. He basically said, "Where's my guy?" Meaning you. So he was really like, "Where is he?"
I am his best friend. I am his best friend.
Yeah, man. He was really like, yeah. He's like, yeah. Where's my guy? And I'm like, oh, he's coming later. He should be coming later. Like, So right after that promo, we had Kushida versus Diego Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so serious when I say this, but I'm always serious talking about wrestling. If you have any friends that ever wanted to get into wrestling and you wanted to ease them in, do not start with WWE. Do not start with AEW. Show them Kushida versus Diego Hill to ease them into professional wrestling if they never saw it before, or they're on the fence, or they just tell you they don't like AEW or WWE. You show them this match because Kushida can definitely, is obviously adaptable. Him from being like from New Japan Pro Wrestling. He is also the head, one of the head trainers over at New Japan Strong and the NJPW Academy over in LA. But he was matching Diego Hill. Diego Hill, to our knowledge, is brand new on the scene because I've never heard of him. I've never seen anything that he does. That was the first time that I seen what he could do. He's a high flyer. He could also, basically do some ground moves and match Kushida, which is kind of it's not that difficult to match Kushida, but like in like a debut match like that really was. And since I was sitting in the front row at this time, I really do not want to get hit with the guardrail, and luckily I didn't get hit with the guardrail. But Diego coming over with that dive, I was like, oh my God, he messed up his leg, but luckily he didn't. It was great back and forth. However, Kushida ends up doing, I think that like small package, like not really power bomb but that small package drop into the 1-2-3. Kushida wins. However, Cesar Duran does come out and give Diego Hill a contract, and Diego Hill ends up becoming the newest member on the roster for MLW. He does have a bright future ahead of him, and I was really, really impressed.
Okay. So Diego, very young, very thin. Well, not very thin, not like cheeseburger thin. But he's young. He's also tall. He's probably 6'2", which, is MLW tall. I mean, not Dijak or right now they've got a bunch of like giants, including Baba Thunder. But he's tall and he's young, so he's got time to build up. He sort of reminds me, for those of you who watched Evolve and watched LFG, he reminds me of Trill London. in his style. It's almost like Javon Evans, who is Jay Malachi, but Javon Evans is so like Javon Evans actually moves like Spider-Man moves in the comics, like, and how they draw him. Like his body is so, made of like rubber bands, but he's also coordinated at the same time. This guy moves like a human. But this is the style now. This is the Axiom. Ben Carter. I can't even remember what his name is in NXT, which embarrasses me right now. Nathan Frazier. It's this kind of style. It's sort of Phoenix, but not nearly as reckless. He's got a good future, and he's one of those people that the MLW finds and signs. I don't know where he worked before, if at all. This could very well be his first, gig with a contract. I just hope it's not like Kevin Knight, that he's there for 3 shows and gets signed away. But Kevin Knight also already worked with New Japan, so it's it was sort of like the die was cast. We'll see. I mean, it's good when they sign young people who have talent. And with MLW, sometimes that the best is going to be after they go somewhere else and build up. But if he can build up his body, and he can, then he does. I mean, Zack Sabre Jr. built up his body. Trick Williams, maybe the best example in the last 3 or 4 years of someone who came in as a string bean and is now, like Hercules, or modern Hercules anyway. So, yeah, I mean, a good addition. Kushida gave him a good match. I mean, but I have to be honest, this is something that I didn't pay that much attention to. I've never really been a Kushida guy. And I sort of knew where it was going. The match was fine. It's just like there were no stakes, other than they got a contract. But I mean, if you haven't been watching MLW for a while, I mean, he wasn't introduced much differently than, say, Anthony Green was introduced, or Ariel Dominguez was, so, for all I know, he had already been, I mean, in reality, of course he was signed already, but, in kayfabe that he was already signed, because, they don't necessarily tell you. I mean, Ava Everett popped out and acted like she had been, basically their, Britt Baker, so,
at one point she was, man. So I guess she was still there in MLW in spirit.
Okay. Well, listen, fair enough. Listen, I like what I saw. I'm looking forward to seeing her match.
Now we get to, I guess this might be the bulk. I don't know. But so Mystico comes out, says some stuff, which I don't even remember what he said exactly. And then all of a sudden, all the Contra guys that are dressed up in black suits with black masks come out. They all get kicked out of the ring. And then there's one person there, surprisingly, just does a low blow to Mystico, unmasked, and the whole entire roof of the Melrose Ballroom in Queens, New York goes nuts. I have the video footage. Everyone has the video footage. It's all over social media. MJF returned to Major League Wrestling to follow Mystico, but he dressed up as a Contra unit, kind of
Sentai Death Squad.
Yeah, as man. All right, you go first for your assessment. But I just wanted to set the scene.
Okay. The reason you don't remember what Mystico said is because he didn't have a chance to say much of anything. And yeah, 4 Sentai Death Squad came in from, basically different angles. They did not acquit themselves particularly well, as is their wont. One of them, their mask fell off. I don't know if that was on purpose. I think it was not, but Mystico went with it and picked it up and was holding it. That seemed to be what he was paying attention to, while the 5th guy sort of sauntered in, casually walked behind Mystico as he was about to cut a promo, talking to me on the hard cam side. Tapped him on the shoulder. Mystico felt his breath or whatever, turned around, and yes, he got kicked in the nuts for it. The guy took off his Sentai Death Squad, black skull mask, and he was wearing a Mystico mask underneath. Then he pulled it off and was MJF. Everyone crazy. And so I'm going to do something I don't normally do. Kudos to Tony Khan for letting this happen. Kudos to MJF for letting this happen. agreeing to it. Kudos to them. I mean, there was no one made a big deal of it when Quan took Mystico's mask a couple months ago, but everyone made a big deal of it when MJF took it off. 2 weeks later when AEW did the show with CML in Arena, Mexico. And I get it; it's a bigger platform and all. And I'm half in spoof and kayfabe, like, hey, pay attention to MLW. I'm the super fan. But I am glad that they continued that story and didn't pretend that it didn't happen. So the Mystico's getting demasked, and it wasn't just by Quan, it was by MJF, and they didn't ignore it. And nobody had to make this happen, and they did. And I think it's great. Now, I share your concerns with the history of AEW and being either intentionally or unintentionally predatory. One way or another, they seem to kill everything they touch sooner or later. But MJF has been floundering. I know he's with the Hurt Syndicate. I haven't watched in 70-something weeks, so I don't really know what people talk about, but it doesn't seem like he's really doing much of anything. I hear people talking about Ospreay and Paige and this, that, and the other thing. And then, like, MJF sort of is an afterthought. Well, now he's not. Now he's a forethought, and he's a forethought with two promotions anyway. And if you got nothing important for him in AEW or he's a psychic, this is a good thing to do if you're working with other promotions. So I'm cautious, but I'm going to be cautiously optimistic, mostly because I think the Dose rub can counteract, and the Gospel of Thomas rub, by the way, because first Thomas is like, you take credit for everyone's work, don't you? I'm like, it's just a gimmick. But now it's so undeniable that it's the Gospel of Thomas rub. So I should include him in this, that we can counteract the bad juju of what AEW does, intentionally or otherwise. But it was a freaking cool moment.
It really was. That's why I'm a little torn about this, because I am cautious just like you, because I really don't want AEW to come in and destroy something that has been so consistently a corner staple. Like MLW has been just so consistent on their momentum that I don't want nothing to derail it, because this is another promotion that you can watch if you ever get tired of WWE, if you ever get tired of AEW, if you ever get tired of like New Japan Pro Wrestling, and maybe you're not able to make it to your local wrestling promotion in your own state. So MLW can be there to fill a void. That could be a thing. I will say that it was very, very, very clever, right? Because both you and I were told that something big was going to happen. And even, Mr. Thomas was telling me that too, when I was talking to him, before all that shit happened. He's like, yeah, something cool is going to go happen, go have fun. And I wasn't
what he said to me, or should I keep it quiet?
I mean, you probably can share it if it's not like too revealing.
It's not revealing at all. In fact,
okay,
he would not spoil it. He gave us some other information, which I spilt all over the place on the internet, so people already know that. But he would not tell you. He said, "Don't leave your seat." And I'm like guessing people who it's going to be. And at some point, I think I got to Cedric Alexander or Moose or someone like that. And he says, "It's not even a black person. That's how important this is." So anyone who doesn't know, and you're watching this, I don't know how you know that you wouldn't know that Mr. Thomas is black. So he's allowed to say that. I'm not. I'm just repeating his words. But it was hysterical because and by the way, the interview that we did with Alex Kane on Gospel of Thomas, there is something that I don't know if it's real or if it's perception, but I think it's probably real, that Alex Kane was saying it's hard to get booked. And they're both saying, as a black man, you have to, there's only so many spots for us, and we have to fit, certain checks. And if you don't check all the boxes, it's harder for you. So that was sort of, it was a joke, but I think the joke also comes from a place of frustration and pain.
I could see that too. On the indies in general, about how certain things are difficult to get booked for here and there and whatnot. Like we could do a whole thing about like indie bookings and whatnot, stuff like that. But yeah, that's very interesting phrasing for Mr. Thomas.
Yeah. If it was from me, I should be tarred and feathered.
Wait, what? You should be what?
If I'm the one who said that, people should rightly tar and feather me.
Oh, I don't take offense to it. Just like,
but the thought would have never entered my mind.
Okay. But yeah, so like MJF being at MLW was very smart. I am very surprised that Tony Khan didn't get on his phone and like text any of his besties, and like none of them like fucking spoiled it. I am so surprised they kept that so close to the chest that I'm like, yo, this felt way different. And then I tweeted out that AEW is the problem only because of like it was like night and day, you know. For people out there that want to know, I used to be a fan of MJF because I thought MJF was like, like really good, like you could get behind him, all that kind of stuff. And then like, stuff on the internet, and then stuff he was doing as a heel that I didn't really agree with, so I'm not really an MJF fan. But just seeing him in a different light, in a different perspective, in a different kind of way, even though somebody did say, oh, he is the same shit he always does, attack somebody, take the mask, like, talk shit to them, like what's new? What's new is that you expect that in AEW because that's on a week to week kind of basis. But for him to just jump over to MLW to do that, nobody was expecting it. So that's why I'm like, the way people are presented, when I say people, I should say wrestlers, the way that wrestlers are presented could give them a fresh new kind of set of coat, a paint, like a fresh new paint to themselves, a fresh new layer into their character lore by going to a different promotion and doing that. Plus, anyway, MJF like made a little bit of his name in MLW by being part of the dynasty with Hammerstone, with Richard Holiday and stuff, and then moving on to AEW and just trying to go through the ranks and stuff. I will give MJF a pass just for being an MLW and doing that. I don't know if they're going to continue that maybe at the next show. I don't know if MGF is going to be joining Contra. I was talking to my people about that, just because I was like, yo, this isn't like really cool because Quan is also doing the Mystico, I would take your mask kind of storyline, and then MJF is doing it too. And that's one of like the many problems that I have with MJF is that it's just a coincidence that tends to happen that storylines either overlap each other or it's very similar. And I'm like, bro, I know you could tell an original story. That's why sometimes I feel like he peaked at CM Punk. When he fought CM Punk, I believe he peaked. And then seeing this, I'm like, are you really like original? Like MJF is the kind of wrestler that you can have on your roster that you could believe in to maybe be the face of a company, be the face of a champion and stuff like that. But I think that he gets in his own way sometimes, and some of the stuff that he does comes off as either it's copying without meaning to copy, or he just gets in his own way. But I'm gonna be as cautious as you are. But I was just like, in that very moment, I was like very serious of like AEW is a problem, explained it. However, the fans felt way different. The fans were cheering. They were like welcoming him back, while I'm here like, I know way too much stuff because I work in the business and I'm just cautious, but they had a good time. And this is why wrestling fans online who are chronically online on Twitter need to understand that bookers and people who own companies are going to listen to the fans way more than what you say on the internet.
Well, I'm going to channel a little Tony Khan and say justified, holy shit chance. I don't have anything to add to what you say. I mean, I think that he's going to be aligned with Contra, but you're right, you never know. I mean, it is not beyond them to loan somebody a Sante Death Squad suit just for the night. It's entirely consistent with MJF's character to hire, mercenaries for hire. He did that with the Butcher and the Blade, and then I'm sure plenty of others along the way. And if I recall, he did that from time to time back in his MLW days as well. So he could give them money for that, and what would they care? I mean, like I said, Quan isn't too thrilled with Mystico, who's looking for a title now, and I'm sure Quan would like to have a say in that. Kruger is has the Money in the Bank, their version of the cash in, so he's looking for some gold, and I'm sure again he's got unfinished business with Dijak, and Babatunde could be a equalizer to Dyer. So a lot of things going on. Why not have an MJF and I don't know. I doubt this is going to happen, but MJF has a couple of friends who've been known to handle a little bit of business and dish out some hurt as well, which is and my 20-year bromance with Bobby Lashley. So I'm getting a little excited. I'm getting a little bit a little old man Viagra just thinking about
it. If the Hurt Syndicate, again, I was going to call it Hurt Business. If the Hurt Syndicate did ever appear at MLW for a higher thing to back MJF, if MJF is not really going to join Contra 100%, I will definitely be marking out. I'll be a fangirl, and I'll definitely talk to all three of them because I really do enjoy the work of Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, and MVP.
Me too.
So I would, man,
fans of all, but only in love with one of
them. So after the shocking debut of MJF, which by the way was the only shocker, which I thought it was going to be something else, but I will save that for another time. We get first of all, it was supposed to be a one-on-one match for the what is it? The middleweight? No.
The open weight championship.
There we go. The open weight championship the open weight championship match title championship. Originally, it was supposed to be Hammerstone versus Ultimo Guerrero, but then Matthew Justice wants to throw his name and hat into that, and then all of a sudden we get a triple threat match, which was a really fantastic match right after the surprise. Matthew Justice being as crazy as he is, diving over the ring ropes and catching, I believe it should have been like Ultimo Guerrero, if not Hammerstone. Hammerstone doing a double missile drop kick, taking a bump. And I was like, bro, you don't really need to be taking these bumps, man. Like, man, he took that bump and whatnot. But leading up to the finish, Hammerstone was way too late to break up the pin. So Ultimo Guerrero got the 1, 2, 3 and remains it's the national open weight champion of MLW.
Something like that. I wasn't thrilled with this being a triple threat. I'm not sure all of the crowd was entirely behind it. I know that everyone pretended that they were Caesar, pretended they were and booked the match. Now, on some of our prior shows, I've said that Ultimo Guerrero looks like a 55-year-old man on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to take that back, but I am going to say that when you see him in person, both at the meet and greet line or area and in person in the ring, he doesn't. He presents his age. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the lighting is bad or it's just that strange power that is his mullet, but or maybe it's just me. But whatever it is, in person, he looks his age, which is younger, far, far younger than 55. He's probably in his 30s. He's a really thick guy also. So that's all good. I can't stand the mullet. I don't like mullets anywhere. I mean, it works on Dominic. I get it. But that's just neither here nor there. Hammerstone, I mean, you may have some insight. I'm not sure if he's actually signed to MLW, if he's sort of on a per appearance. I was a little bit surprised that he didn't win. He's a little slow. I mean, his muscles have gotten a lot bigger, and that might be slowing him down a little bit. I mean, he can still pull out like the double missile drop kick and the moves, but I don't think all of the slowness was scripted. I think some of the slowness that's just how fast he moves now, being as large as he is.
I will tell you this though, that before Summer of the Beast happened, he did decide to enter into a bodybuilding competition. Yeah. So it was like last minute, and then now his body is recovering from it. Similar to what like Bianca Belair did right before WrestleMania for her match, that she entered into the body competition and then came to wrestle not too long after that. So like it does play a role from like, they got to get, being a bodybuilder, doing all that kind of stuff, and then getting back to like normal normal shape. But yeah, that's the only insight that I have. I did earlier in the day. I did say, welcome back to MLW to Hammerstone, because I was like, yay, finally he's back at MLW and stuff. And then, even though we're gonna get to the main event, uh Matt Riddle kept throwing Hammerstone freaking compliments during like the meet and greet time. Matt Riddle was just like, man, look how jacked he is. Like, I can't fight him and all that kind of stuff. And I just thought that was just like pretty funny. Up close and personal, those are some really, big ass muscles. Some
Yeah,
really big ass muscles.
he's really, really. He's also really thick. Um,
Yeah.
and he cut a heel promo afterwards saying when he left MLW, he was the alpha male, and you guys didn't try to keep me hard enough. He's like, I'm not talking about the office. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about you in the locker room. You let me go, and you shouldn't have. I guess the influences is the MLW suffered without him. But now he's back, and and forget about what just happened here. I don't really care about that title. I'm going for the world title because Matt Riddle, you are just an OnlyFans thumbnail.
Oh my god, when he said that, I was like, "Oh, this is hilarious."
Yeah, that was a good line. Despite what I said earlier, I'm very glad I've been a fan of Hammerstone for a while. I first became a fan of Hammerstone during COVID when he was working out outside and he was having a feud with a family of ducks. They would interfere with his workouts, and he would do little videos of it every day, and that was really funny stuff. And I appreciate that kind of sense of humor. And he is a star, and you always have to wonder how long is Matt Riddle going to, be in this place and enjoy working the indies and doing whatever. But even if he is going to be there, who's somebody who could take the title from him and hold that mantle? Now, I think Kruger can. I think
Hmm.
that Dijak can.
Hmm.
I think that probably Bishop Dyer can as well. And there are others. They bring people in and out, but Hammerstone, definitely. Hammerstone absolutely looks like a world champion right now. And while they're building up someone like a Templario or, whomever, my favorite is Flinge,
Yeah.
or Hammerstone looks the look, walks the walk. He looks the part. Carry that belt, and when you have someone that feels important carrying the belt, the whole brand feels more important.
Pretty much, yeah. I would definitely like to pick his brain about when he was cutting his promo, and he was just so in character, while like we heard some of the fans like just chanting some really ridiculous shit that I'm like, how did you not capitalize on, like, telling them to shut up or something? Like, he stood in character. He was like, I have to deliver these lines that I am thinking. I'm just like, I would love to pick his brain about, like, yo, did you want to at least tell them off or something?
Can we talk a second about Matthew Justice?
Yeah, sure.
Because I mean, obviously, that's going to be a little feud between he
Yeah,
attacked
yeah.
going after us, but I mean, Matthew Justice in the match, like I know he's sort of like the hardcore guy. He's sort of taken
Hmm.
over the Mance Warner
Yeah.
slot, but I don't remember him like being the guy that like was sort of like the Joker that like when he got violence, like he sort of would react by laughing and smiling and then fall down and then laugh again. Like this manic mania thing. It was a little cartoonish, and I don't remember. I remember being sort of the serious guy, like
Yeah.
well, like a smaller version of Seth Rollins, so to speak. Without the
Hmm.
whole architect thing. But I mean, is this new or is it? Did I just miss
Yeah.
it all
No,
along?
no, no, no. No, you didn't miss it. You basically had the timeline like correct. Like, he was very serious when he was with what is it? One
True
man
Gear
Manders.
Crew.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was very serious then. And then when Manders was no longer with MLW, and then Mance Warner came in, and they had that whole thing, and like I guess he just followed in Mance Warner's footsteps of being like the hardcore guy, the guy that does the crazy stuff now and whatnot. But yeah, you got the timeline correct. It's just another layer to his developing character.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, it's almost heelish, but he seems like he wants to be a face. I don't know. Somebody watch it, but he was acting a little bit like Raven with energy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, the main event, which includes both my buddies. Kenta has now become my buddy in a way.
Good.
Um, just
You're a good
because
buddy.
I fangirled and yeah, I love it. I fan
What's with you and the Asian guys?
what?
What's with you and the Asian guys?
What do you mean? What kind of
Quan,
question is that?
Kenta, Evan.
Hey, listen, I just like talent.
Okay. All right.
I like talent. I mean, like, I don't know why my brain wanted to be like, I like anime too. That's just such a stupid thing to
Everybody
say.
likes some kind of anime. I'm not telling you what kind I like. None of your business.
But yeah, I just like talented people. It doesn't matter whatever, it doesn't matter their race or whatever it is. Like if you got talent and you have ambition and you still want to like see people succeed and help out, like I'm all for it.
Well, I like when you have buddies, because when you have buddies, you let me share them and they come on the show, and then you come on the show, and then Thomas doesn't have to book the show, and I feel like I'm doing something.
Yeah, I like helping out. Everyone knows that.
I know, and I like you for that.
But yeah, Kenta, man, at least at least during the meet and greet, there was like no lines basically downstairs because I was already done. I came downstairs, and then like me telling Kenta, I gave him his flowers of like, thank you, sir, for getting me into Pro Wrestling Noah and Japanese wrestling, and telling him like all that I know, and that just like made his day. And then him very adorably was like, you still know, he basically told me I'm still in Pro Wrestling Noah, right? I'm like, I know. I just don't have money to get the subscription to watch Pro Wrestling Noah, so that way I can like review it and like have it with my community and whatnot. But he knew that I knew exactly what he was doing in Pro Wrestling Noah and stuff, and that he went back, which is the coolest thing ever, because maybe one day down the line it could be Kenta versus CM Punk, because CM Punk still owes Kenta royalties for stealing everything that he ever did. So maybe that can happen.
Not sure if that's how that works, but listen, they have Okamura and Tevion Heights, and Josh Briggs spent some time in Noah, almost spent time in Noah, so there is a line of communication there. How deep the partnership is, I don't know, but I mean, listen, if they just want to do a novelty show, like if they were going to, like sort of, I don't know what it'd be, but they're having 3 shows in Saudi Arabia. I mean, I don't know what they want. I don't know if they would want to do such an inside baseball event at Saudi Arabia with CM Punk at 44, 45.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be something to pop the IWC if they at a show that nothing important needs to happen, but that would feel important.
Yeah, for all the true fans that basically know, I would, damn man, I would be like, yeah, let's go. But even though I didn't like get to work with like Kenta in a bigger capacity, but just letting him know that like, bro, you're one of my favorites. I followed like your whole entire career, like that made both of our day. And
He was
then
talking
like I
about
got
you all night long. I'm telling you, he didn't stop. Everything he was saying to that guy in the crowd, he was actually saying nice things about you. He just looked angry.
Dude, he gave that dude daggers. I was like, yo, please go over there and punch the shit out of him, man. Like
that was some of the best side eye, hate eye, I'm gonna fuck you up eye that I've seen in wrestling from anyone.
Yeah, man. Kenta is really, really, really good at that. Once Kenta gives you those eyes, you know not to fuck with him. Also, I do think that I know, right? Until afterwards, he was like, "I love you, Kenta," and I'm like, "Man."
He goes, I'm not an asshole. And everyone's like, yes, you are.
Yeah, man. But I do think in general, venues should have a cutoff limit for alcohol, even though he wasn't getting it, his friend was getting the alcohol. But like there should be a cutoff point, and people should get like free water, so that way they don't have to like be super drunk. They can like start sobering up. But yeah, I just think venues
outside, I have to tell you that the entire block in front of the Melrose Ballroom, just it might as well have been a marijuana grove. That's how much it smelled like marijuana. Everybody was going to get contact. Now, maybe marijuana would have calmed that dude down. I just have a feeling that guy is sort of unhinged anyway. But I think that he thinks he's dangerous, but I think he's only dangerous to himself.
Yeah, man. But that fan, man. But yeah, it was Kenta versus Matt Riddle, and I totally forgot that they were going to be in the main event. So
Right.
I did not tell Kenta. I'm hoping he could became champion. Spoiler alert:
Oh, for the
Matt
guys
Riddle
watching,
does.
support Marie Shadows. You can be a big fan of her community and a supporter and all that other good stuff. And welcome.
Yeah. um. But yeah, so I didn't get to tell him to go kick Matt Riddle's ass and take the belt from him because I totally forgot that they were fighting in the
Well,
in
Steve
the main event.
knows Riddle. Like
Yeah.
Riddle knew everybody at Unpopular Review. They once woke me up with a conference call like FaceTime, and Matt Riddle's in the upper corner like the Brady Bunch. I'm like, what the hell is happening here? And what's
Oh
Matt Riddle
wow.
doing? And I mean, they know it. And I'm like, Steve, go up and talk to me. He's like, oh, I'm not going to talk to Riddle. I was like, why? He's like, I don't want. I'm like,
Really? Because I went up to him and I was surprised that Matt Riddle remembered me and I asked for a hug. This motherfucker gave me a hug and
he
we
remembered that
talked.
call. I saw him in Maryland. He remembered that call. And I mean,
uh
he says I have a good
Damn.
memory, which is exactly what you don't think he has, but he did. I didn't tell
Yeah.
him very much. He filled in the blanks.
Mm. Man, and then I spent I don't know, maybe 10 minutes just talking with Matt, just talking with Riddle, or maybe 5 minutes, and it was the best talk that I had because the first time around I didn't really get to talk to him as much because I was just okay, meet and greet, got to get him down there, I was working, but now that I had a little time on my hands, I was like, oh cool, let me just chat with him and whatnot.
The
But
one useful thing that crazy fan did is he started singing Randy
oh
Orton's
yeah.
song, and the whole crowd started singing. And Matt Riddle, like at first, he's like, "What do I do with this?" And then he's like, he totally rolled into it. He was
Yeah.
enjoying it. He got up. He did the Randy Orton pose. Everybody cheered. Kenta played along, so he sort of mocked the pose.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's like something that could have gone. I mean, I'm sure it's not the first time he's dealt with that. It's
Yeah, yeah.
probably it probably wasn't the first time that day he dealt with that. But still, well done, Matt Riddle. Well done, Kenta. Well done, everybody rolling with it. Well done to the people in the crowd who know the words to wrestling songs, because I'm not that guy.
Yeah. I mean, the match. The match was what it was. Kenta being a striking wrestler. You have Matt Riddle being a striking wrestler with his UFC and stuff. And both of them put on a great show. Matt Riddle gets a lot of bad rep and or rap. And I get it. I get why he does, but he's misunderstood. But then he puts on really, really good matches against the people that he wrestles. He did tell me that he hates running the ropes, while I told him I love running the ropes. And he was just like, well, in the UFC, we're not running the cage. And I'm just like, yeah, you're right, but I love running the ropes. Either way, overall, the match was really, really good. Unfortunately, Kenta did not pick up the win. I really do want Kenta to hold a championship title belt, even though he's held Pro Wrestling Noah belts forever before moving to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and New Japan Pro Wrestling just screwing him over and shit. We could be here for 2 hours. Let me not get into that. But
We still have
then,
his Go to Sleep Club shirt that they let him have. So,
yeah, I mean, well, that's all his.
well, New
So
Japan owns the Bullet Club logo,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean they could cause problems for him if they wanted to.
Yeah, but I don't know if on the shirt they had the Bullet Club logo on it. That's the thing. So if it
It,
doesn't
it
have it on the shirt, it'll
it's
be
darn
fine.
close. It's darn
Oh,
close.
it is? Okay. I didn't get to see the shirt fully. Um
It's closer than like the villain clubs and the cleaner clubs. I mean,
oh, got it.
it's clearly in the
Oh,
Bullet Club family.
okay. I think he has the Fang one. He should have the
Right.
Fang
Yeah,
one
you're like a
because
saber tooth. It's cool. It's a cool shirt. All the
yeah,
Bullet Club shirts are cool. I mean, they're not cool anymore, but the this logo was always cool. It was neat. I mean, that really helped move that brand along.
it really did.
that was their original
Well,
genius or good luck or whatever it was getting into Hot Topic.
oh yeah. That helped out a lot too. Um But yeah, so I should have asked Kenta why he has the Fang stuff. I don't know. I'm just like, why does he have the Fang stuff? I should have asked him that. But unfortunately, Kenta does not win. Matt Riddle retains, and I really thought because of how long the celebration was, because Tom Lawler comes out to celebrate with him, I was like, we're gonna get a surprise. We're gonna get a surprise. What's happening? We're taking too long. But no, we did not get no more surprises. So yeah, do you have any overall thoughts about the main event?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very good match, but like you said, there were no surprises there. It was back and forth, well executed. Riddle won. I don't feel it's unfortunate, and despite the fact that I've had 2 or 3 interactions with Matt Riddle, they're very short, and I don't pretend to know him. But all I can say is that the impressions I've got of him, at least at work, which was Maryland Championship Wrestling and MLW, were positive, and the little interactions directly or indirectly through when I was on Unpopular Review were all positive. So, I mean, he seems like a good guy. I don't know if he's misunderstood or just like being in corporate WWE isn't for him. It's not the right fit. That said, Tom Lawler came out. The one surprise I got is there's something wrong with Tom Lawler's left foot.
Yeah, there is.
He could not put any weight on it, and it was hard watching him walk. Like he walked like old men who walk and they sort of wobble instead of really walk. And that's sad. I hope it's temporary. I mean, we saw him in a match just a month or so ago, a hardcore match. So I'm assuming this is a temporary thing and not a permanent thing. But I've been saying this, that it's getting harder and harder to watch him move. But aside from that, like I said, it was the first time I saw his face and go, this is not like a caveman. He's actually a handsome guy. So, he's no Bobby Lashley, don't get me wrong, but,
Are you saying that Matt Riddle's a handsome guy or Tom Lawler's a handsome guy?
Tom Lawler. Matt Riddle,
Oh.
I don't think Matt Riddle's a handsome guy. He's sort of goofy looking, but, I mean, even his tattoo is of a mushroom. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Decisions on those tattoos. Overall thoughts, this was a very fun event. I'm always glad to be working events and making my own opportunities while I'm there. Everybody online can question and say that I'm an anti AEW, excuse me, and like all this other shit, but just know that if I'm given something as like credentials or whatever, I do work for that shit. Like, I do not sit down to be like, let me just twiddle my thumbs and not do anything. No, I am everywhere to make sure that everything is running smoothly if they don't have enough hands. And that's basically what I do. So Summer of the Beast is a wrap. Coming up next is Blood and Thunder on August 9th, which will be on YouTube, most likely maybe like at 10 p.m. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it's going to be later on. And then MLW returns to Dallas September 13th. I believe it's September 13th. Tickets start at $13. So go out and get some tickets.
Yeah, definitely do. Fightland.
Yes. Fightland, you don't want to miss those shows.
Yeah, absolutely not. And listen, I can vouch. She works hard. The people know her. They respect her. I saw her talking to Court Bauer.
No, I haven't talked to Court since maybe I don't know. I have to find the interview, but I haven't talked to him since I did the interview with him. So I know.
It wasn't Court, but
it wasn't Court.
I wish it was. For a while, I obviously sidled in there and interrupted and made sure he remembered me. But you were talking to a lot of the talent, and they were talking to you, and a lot of the crew. I saw you talking to the photographer there.
Okay, yeah, Kyle. Which you should have came. I should have brought you with me to meet Kyle. Kyle, he does like I told you. I'll put him over anyway because he needs more gigs. But he takes pictures for the Queen Gambit newsletter for Queens. So MLW always has a spot in the Queen's newspaper.
Very nice. And my ridiculously beautiful wife was there, La Sicaria. So people saw her in person and rightly could not believe that she was with me and probably thought that once they saw, Thomas and I hanging out and a little bit of the Quan, they probably thought that she was a wrestler also. But she's 51, people. She's 51. And like I say, Enki and Marduk provide. that's you just have to pick the right gods and let me be your priest. No, I'm kidding. Great time. It's great seeing you. You hustle and bustle, but you made time for us. You came over as often as you could. If you could bring me over to some guy, that'd be great. But I don't know when you would have had free time, and we were all tired. Like I was hoping, in my mind to mind, everybody was going to go out together. We're going to go to a diner or whatever, and I'm going to be sitting there between Dyer and Dijak and Kruger and Thomas, and I'm going to be like this little guy, and they're going to be these giants. And Thomas is like, I'm leaving. I'm going to sleep. And then right as we get into an Uber, he texts me. He goes, I'm coming back, and I'm gonna get something to eat. You want to come? And I'm just like, we're in the car. We're in the Uber. He's like, all right, well, I'll text you when I'm done, but you'll be asleep. And I'm just like, yeah, of course I was. I mean,
he should have.
I was dead.
He should have texted me. He hasn't texted me. He hasn't texted me since I asked you to text him to text me.
We need a better text chain. So
he should have texted me. I would have definitely been like, we could do that, and then I would have came back home to the Bronx a little bit later, even though that's not really as safe as it should be. But that's what it is.
Yeah, I haven't been in Queens in a while, and Queens and Brooklyn to me right now are cooler than Manhattan. I mean, Queens is really built up, and it's a cool vibe. I mean, they were like Astoria. That's the area. They're Astoria near Long Island City. I mean, Astoria especially, but Astoria has a lot of personality. Great Greek restaurants. Great. I mean, so I strongly recommend that if you were in New York or in the area and you don't mind making a 3 or 4 hour drive or 45-minute flight or whatever, definitely go check it out. I mean, plus there's New York. You can see everything. So or see another game or whatever. But yeah, it was definitely a good time. Definitely easy, mellow and raucous at the same time. I know it doesn't make sense, but it's true.
It is. It really is. You have to be there to experience it too. It's a little different from like watching it at home. But prices are affordable because people want to complain about ticket prices. MLW is still affordable. And MLW tries its very, very best to make sure that everybody goes home happy. Everyone goes home safely. Even if like the wrestlers are diving every single which way, but like you basically get home safe. The ring crew was definitely phenomenal. Like I love those guys. Even though I know like half of them anyway. But yeah, everyone worked their ass off. So Dose Evil, with that being said, put yourself over.
Hey, you can follow me on the X at Dose_Evil. My podcasts are Garden of Thought. There tends to be 2 or 3 shows a week, and every couple of weeks, sometimes every week, one of those is Gospel of Thomas, where me and Mr. Thomas talk to people in wrestling. Our most recent show is with the Savage Gentleman Victor Benjamin, and our next interview is with Vicious Vicky Venuto. So we're looking forward to that. I'm also part of the Wrestling Soup Network, so I do the Evolve podcast called A Dose of Chocolate, which is on the Wrestling Soup and Friendos feed, which is separate from regular Wrestling Soup. Until today, it was just on Spreaker, so it should be that feed should be available everywhere. So Dose of Chocolate, and then there was like another show we call Village Business, which is basically me and the people in the Discord picking a topic and talking about it seriously, but it's more casual. It's close to the Garden of Doom, except it's more casual, and that's fun. I would call it a thought comedy show. On Wrestling Soup, me and Lufisto, the legendary Lufisto, are doing the LFG review show. We started with season 2, episode 1. So that is on the Wrestling Soup feed, but I cannot believe I do shows with PJ Black, Mr. Thomas, and Lufisto. I mean, me, who the hell am I? And so that's great. I also do a show called Body Slam Briefs, which is occasionally on Wrestling Soup. It's where we talk about legal issues that intersect with wrestling, and I only do that as needed or as I think is needed, or if enough people bug me to do one, because a lot more things happen legally than need to be talked about, because a lot is just sort of the same thing over and over again, just in a different form or after something else happens. But all right, that's probably enough. I do a bunch of other things, but listen, if you follow me on Twitter, believe me, everything I do, everywhere I guest, anything I'm on, including this show, I'm going to retweet, I'm going to quote tweet it, I'm going to repost. And so, I love me. I love attention. Thank you.
That's totally okay, man. You got to put yourself over first before other people can like cheer you by your side.
Right.
I'm Marie Shadows. This is Square Circle Podcast where we talk about professional wrestling. And I have my new merchandise of my hat that has Crossroads on it, which is coming soon to your ears, which is Crossroads interviews, where I'm going to bring back my interview series in a little different of a way. And then there is Crossroads editorial, where I go into a deep dive into other subjects that aren't professional wrestling, and to give flowers to things that have either inspired me or like what I like growing up, and just different types of perspectives. So like more think pieces for Crossroads editorials. So these hats are available now on my fourth wall, which the link will be down in the description below. You could also get the second pair of merch that says I rated this shirt 7 stars. Which I'm surprised that no one asked me at the show like what my shirt was, but it's okay. It's basically a take on David Metzler's star rating. So if you want to feel like you're a 7 on a Monday, but then on a Friday you're feeling like a 5, it's all there, 1 to 7. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I have youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast, where you guys can subscribe for free, like the video, share it out, leave a comment down below, and also join the membership subscription. My wrestling newsletter, which is not $14.99, but you can upgrade from free to pay, marieshadows.substack.com. You can listen to the Square Circle Podcast on Spotify. Make sure to be following the channel. Spotify now allows you to leave comments. I reply to all comments. Even if you call me names and say mean things to me. You can follow me on Twitter at Marie_Shadows. And yeah, let us know what you think about MLW. What are you looking forward to in wrestling? And that's where you can find me and Dos Evo.
Absolutely. Stay with my friend.
Yep. And we'll see you guys on the next one.